Yes, sir. What's going on, family? It's your man, Mr. Law of Attraction, back for another video. Coming with you with video 8 of the Quantum Leap series. If you're joining for the first time, I'm posting a video every single day for the next 90 days so you can quantum leap your life going into this new year. It's the same system that I follow to scale 2 companies from 0 to 100,000 a month in less than 45 days. After studying with the Bob Proctor for 2 years, he taught me these principles and it changed my life. And it wasn't just me. You see the countless amounts of testimonies here on the YouTube channel. I have over 1,000 clients that I've taught this system, and you can see the results happen for them as well. So let's continue. In this video, we're going to be talking about fusing the frequency. We're going to be getting into really, really important stuff, some of the bed meat and potatoes of what's going on. So where are we at so far? Let's get a nice, every time we finish up a lecture, I like to go to the next one. So remember, this program is broken up into multiple sections. The first one is thoughts. That's what we're going through right now. Thoughts, feelings, and action is how you fuse the frequency of the quantum leap. Let's just say you're making 20,000 a month right now in personal profit, and you want to go to 100,000, 200, 300,000 a month in personal profit. We have to have the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions of that person. All right. So we have the thoughts, programming, feelings, and habits. And I have some bonus lessons that if we have time, I'll get into those a little bit later on. So right now, we're going to jump into fusing the frequency. Now, I wrote this lesson, oh goodness, maybe about 1.5 years ago, and my clients absolutely love this one. So let's get into it. Fusing the frequency. The power of aligned decision. Decision is the gatekeeper of power. So check this out. If you guys remember Think and Grow Rich, decision making is the biggest lesson in the entire book. Now you might be thinking, well, DeAndre, why do I need to take a lesson on decision making? Guys, if you don't know how to make decisions in a vacuum where you're making decisions through faith and not with your eyes, you will always fail. You guys have seen my story multiple times. I'm assuming if you're this far into watching the series now, you've seen my story. I had to make a decision to work with Bob Proctor when I didn't have the money. I had to make a decision to pack my bags and move to Colombia so my business can quantum leap. I had to make a decision to move to Dubai with $1,500, not knowing that a couple months later I was going to be making $100K a month with a new business. I had to make the decisions even when money wasn't there. This is a powerful lesson that most people do not learn how to do. Or when it's time to make a decision, they delay it. They look at other people, and oh my gosh, we got to get into it. So there's a single moment, a divine millisecond that unlocked the entire life that you desire. It's not when the money hits your account. Stop waiting for the money to be there before you make the decision. It's not when the relationship works out. It's not when the algorithm favors you. It's when you decide. The moment I decided to be one of the most famous car influencers in Dubai when it came to YouTube was the moment my YouTube channel here, Mr. Law of Attraction, took off. And it took me in a whole other different direction. But I had decided to go all in on YouTube. And the next month, I was all in on YouTube. And that's where I literally built a 7-figure business right here off of YouTube. I had decided first before the numbers came. And that's why I love this Quantum Leap Challenge, because I know I made a decision through the Lord. He told me to do this challenge. And guess what? I know some amazing doors will open because of this Quantum Leap Challenge. Y'all feel me here. And I'm doing it in front of you guys. Decision is a frequency. That's why I call it fusing the frequency. We talked about the different frequencies in law of vibration in the first section. Now we're talking about how to actually fuse that frequency so you can start to download the physical assets and, most importantly, become that person. It's not about what you say you want. It's about what you energetically claim. I'm not saying like, oh, you're telling your mom, you're telling your business partner, you're telling Instagram. I'm talking about energetically. You can feel it in my energy. I see your guys' comments. By the way, make sure you comment below. Every time you guys leave a comment, I get a notification to my phone saying that you guys are commenting, and it gets me hyped up to make the video because it's like 6:30 p.m. here in California. So I make them in the evening. So this hypes me up knowing that you guys are watching this. So leave a comment below. Until your decision is made, your energy is fragmented, your vibration is unstable, and your power is diffused. A real decision fuses you with the frequency. You guys remember that that image that I showed you guys in the other lesson? How there's different levels of frequencies, and that there's one level here, current state, and the desired state with the star. That was your goal. And how do you fuse the frequency? It's a decision. So a decision is how you fuse the frequency. And once you fuse with it, creation begins instantly. Guys, remember that client I was telling you about that's just signed up with me a couple of days ago? Guys, doors have already opened up with him. He's going to be flying to San Francisco where he's going to be meeting up some partners for his venture capital, like business and everything he's got going on. He's meeting the connections. Doors are opening that in just a couple of days. You know why? He had fused the frequency, and we've been working on this. Not someday, not when you're ready, right now. So here's how it works, guys. And we'll begin to the stick figure a little bit later on, but I want you guys to follow this. Let this top half, let it represent your conscious mind. Let this bottom half, let it represent your subconscious mind. This little bitty circle right here, let it represent your body. Okay? So there's a power that flows into your consciousness, and this power just is. It's not positive, it's not negative, it just is. It's a thought energy. Think about this. When you pass away, where do you go? Your body stays here, but you and your personality goes somewhere else. It goes back to God, it goes back to source. That is the power we're talking about. That power allows you to think thoughts. You can't turn your thoughts off as long as you're, even when you're sleeping. That's the only time you can turn it off. But there's always a power flowing into your consciousness. When that power hits your conscious mind, depending on how you're programmed, your thoughts become an idea. Ideas cause an emotion. Emotion alters your vibration. Remember, we talked about how when you start to plant a new image into your subconscious mind, every cell of your new body that's being produced now has the vibration of that new image, which now you're literally rewriting your body. So your emotions alter your vibration. Your vibration is then expressed through your action. And now this is where the law of attraction comes in. Pay attention, guys. The law of attraction is a reaction to your frequency. You guys feel me here? Everybody just thinks that, oh, I'm going to sit on a couch and meditate and it's going to come. No, it always came because I put my quantum thoughts into action, and then the door started to open. You will have to act. You will get paid through your business in the least effort possible. Law of least effort. Your actions cause a reaction which alters your conditions, your circumstances, and your environment, aka your results. The law of attraction will react to your action, thereby changing your results. Y'all follow me here. And I have a lot of images like this that we'll be breaking down over the next several weeks to help you understand this. So remember, law of attraction is a reaction to your frequency, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. You'll notice that your actions can be congruent with your old state, but your thoughts can be in a different place. Your thoughts can be one place, but your actions can be in a different place. This is why I find a lot of my clients to be incongruent. They can be incongruent in their actions or incongruent in their thoughts. But if they're out of equilibrium, they're not going to attract the things that they want on that new frequency, aka their $100,000 a month, their $500,000 a month, raising $10 million for their company, whatever it is that they want. We got to get all three in alignment. Does that make sense? Remember when I showed you the layout of this program? Thoughts, feelings, programming, and habits. Got all of it done for you. Indecision is a silent killer. Indecision feels harmless, but it's a mental prison. It fragments the mind, splits the spirit, and invites anxiety to dominate your mind. There's a decision right now that you need to make. A decision to move to that new city, to move your company, to raise the capital, to hire the coach. But you're thinking to yourself, well, once I get the money, then I'll do it. Once I get the contact, then I'll do it. That is the thing that's keeping you stuck. It's called ambivalence. Ambivalence, pay attention. Ambivalence is the coexistence of opposite feelings towards the same subject. So what could that look like? So let's just say there's a calling inside of you that you need to move your company to a different city, right? Let's say you're in Dallas, Texas, and you need to move your company to Dubai for whatever reason, okay? But then one part of you is pulling you towards the positive. Like, oh my gosh, if I go to Dubai, the taxes and this and that, and it's just going to be great for my brand. But the other side is I don't know anybody there. I don't have the money. What if I get stuck? I'm across the world. What if something happens to me, right? All these things, all these ideas start to happen. So you have two different feelings towards the same objective. And that is called ambivalence. And that creates an internal war. And where there is war, there is no power. Divide and conquer. How you want to divide, as you divide a nation, you divide the people, you divide the power. To take your power back, you will have to start to make decisions, and decisions that are not created by the outside world, but decisions are created by the internal image that we created in our first section here, when we created our goal card. When you make decisions from there, remember how I said, when you create a goal card, everything that you do in your life filters through that goal. When you delay decisions, whether it's a relationship, an investment, a pivot, hiring the coach, or your future, you're choosing to live in energetic limbo. Nothing will start to happen. So for those of you that have been reading books and trying manifestation and trying different courses and nothing is working because you're not making the energetic decisions, you're not fusing the frequency. Your body may be moving forward, but your soul is stuck in the crossroads. And I know this firsthand in so many periods of my life, guys. Like, if you guys even watched back for a couple months ago, while I was still in that relationship, or when I was going back and forth in my toxic relationship, I was making content, but it wasn't hitting that hard. That's why a lot of you guys are like, oh, he's back, his energy's back, because I was in ambivalence. One part of me wanted to stay in the relationship, the other one didn't want to start my relationship. And that put me in energetic limbo. And as you guys can see here by this content, people like me for my energy and the way I teach the content. So it reflected in my business. Does that make sense? So I wasn't having business problems. I was having personal problems that reflected my business. Same thing goes for you, brother and sister. You are having personal problems that are reflecting in your business. You are not having business problems. Indecision is the birthplace of confusion, anxiety, and self-doubt. One of these quotes that's been hitting my head recently today was a quote from the book of what is it called? The Way of the Superior Man. A man living on his edge. When a man begins to live on his edge, he starts to go into a new frequency where he starts to believe in faith, and doors start to open to him because he starts to trust in the Lord. Indecision keeps you away from that gap. It keeps you away from the blessings because you're waiting for some external resource to come and help you and aid you instead of trusting in a power higher than yourself. So this is not that you don't know what to do, is that you don't trust what you already know. So here's how we implement this. Think of one area of your life right now that you've been indecisive. For some of you, it's like, hey, I would love to work with DeAndre, but wait till I get paid on Friday. Once I get the investment, once I pay off the credit card. Some of you are like that. Remember, first link in the description if you guys want to work with me. It's what I do in coaching calls is completely different from what we're doing here, and all my clients can testify that I teach. We're working this in your business. Is there an indecision in your health? Indecision in the relationship? What do you need to make a decision about right now? And what has that indecision cost you emotionally, eating at you, spiritually, or financially? Guys, I want you to think about this. Now, I'm not the richest man in the world. I've done about $2 million since I started with Bob Proctor. I had to put $5,000 on my grandfather's credit card, which was a massive risk because it wasn't even my money when I first started this 6 years ago. If I would have let $5,000 stop me, it would have kept me from millions of dollars that I've earned in my 20s, now going to my 30s, doing 20, 30, 50, $100 million in my 30s. $5,000 would have stopped me from earning millions upon millions of dollars and finding my calling. For some of you, it might be as simple as that. You need to hire that business coach, that ad agency. You need to move to that new city so you can find the right business partners, but you're afraid to do it because you don't have a couple $1,000. So that stops you from earning millions on the back end. That's costing you emotionally, spiritually, and financially. I want you guys to really change your perspective here. So ambivalence, it's two different feelings towards the same subject. One part of you, your spiritual part of you, the spirit of perfection that lives within you, is pulling you towards change because it knows that on the other side, there's prosperity. But then the status quo, your old paradigm, your physical eyes that can't see the resources coming to you, wants to keep you stuck and keep you safe. Number 2, circumstances are a lie. And I have a whole entire lesson built on this called rejecting the projection. Just because you can't see, let me put it up here. Just because you can't see the move, the investment, the start, or the pivot, because of your circumstances, you don't move. You don't move because you don't see it in front of you. But that is an illusion. Remember projection, rejection. And like I haven't covered it for you guys quite yet in this lesson, but I have a lesson for you. You have to reject all things. Actually, I covered a bit of it. You guys remember that image where there was like the character and he was observing the outside world, had like a car, a woman, and some money? So the physical eyes look at the projection, but behind the projection is a binary code, also known as a formless substance, also known as infinite intelligence, also known as the quantum field, also known as the hologram. Whatever way you want to come about it, that responds to consciousness and thought of man. So if you keep letting the outside world control you, you will be stuck forever living in the same cycles. You have to reject that. But anyways, I don't want to get too deep. I have a lesson on that. Circumstances, your current projections are not the facts. They are reflections of past decisions. Pay attention here. Everything in your life, your body, your bank account, your current situation, the room that you're living in, everything right now is a reflection of your past thoughts. Everything is a culmination, a summation of your past decisions. But you have power. You have the power right now in the present moment to change the future. And you know this, but you're not doing it because you keep letting past decisions of today, which is your past decisions, dictate what you will happen tomorrow instead of choosing in the present moment to choose a different future. That is a skill to reject everything that's going on around you. Guys, remember before my $100,000 months, I was broke. Anytime I shot up straight to 100,000 a month, I had less than $1,000 in my bank account. The second time, I think I only had like 40 cents in my account, and then I made 100,000 that month. That was in Dubai. Then with Bob Proctor, I had like $800 in my account and shot up to 100,000 every 2 weeks because I learned this. Napoleon Hill says, "Circumstances, I make them." When you let your current situation decide your future, you are letting the old you dictate the new you. So here, as you're going through this challenge here, I'm helping you become a bigger, better version of yourself, a new version of yourself. And if you keep letting your current circumstances change your future and change your present feeling states, you'll keep living the same cycle. You have to become bigger than your environment. You have to become bigger than your bank account. You have to become bigger than your problem so that you can change it tomorrow by changing it in the present moment. But the real decision happens beyond logic. It is made in the spiritual realm. You guys make sense? Do this exercise with me right now. Close your eyes. Close your eyes right now. I want you to bring up that decision that you need to make right now. Bring up that decision. Now, I want you to project yourself 6 months after you made that decision. Okay, let's just say you made that decision, everything worked out. I want you to think positive. Everything worked out. What are the scenes that are coming up after you have made this decision and it positively affected your life 6 months after you made that decision? What does your life look like now? You're in that new city. You have your new income. You have that new car. You're in that new relationship, or you ended that relationship and you're healed now. What is it right now? Project yourself there. Now join me back. You see, you just went there. Remember the frequency? You just went there in spirit. So by living in that future state, you can manifest and create collapse time and space by living in the spiritual realm because you just went there. And it's done instantaneously. That's the cool thing about spirit. It's done instantaneously. You don't have to wait for time and space to come and for things to happen. You can go live out there now. So here's a power shift. Most people say, I'll decide once the money shows up. Man, if that was the case, I wouldn't even be here right now. But in reality, the money shows up because you decided. I knew by going to Dubai after studying this material here, I knew that by going to Dubai, money was going to start to flow to me. And sure enough, it did. It took a little bit of time because I wasn't as deep and articulate. You see this stuff? I created this after. I had some like a framework, but not as deep as it is now. But I knew in my intuition that it would just take off. The money showed up after I decided to move to Dubai. The money showed up after I paid Bob Proctor on my grandfather's credit card when I was sleeping in my car. First, I made the decision, then the money came. Like I said, when I paid Bob Proctor $5,000 to start as a consultant back in January 2020, I packed up my bags to Colombia and went all in on YouTube. And it didn't even come from YouTube during that time. It came from another unexpected route, which we'll talk about in a different phase. So guys, pay attention to this. This is a very important lesson here. Okay, let the x-axis, let it represent time. As we go this way, there's more time. Here is energy. Okay, the more energy up here. Okay, so let's just say you're working towards a goal right now. Okay, so whenever you start on a new goal, so let's just say right now you need to make a decision. Here you are. Whenever you make a new decision, your energy is at the highest place. You're going all in. You're super excited. Things are working out for you. So you're at the highest energetic point because you just made that decision. But you see this, the external world, that's the red line. The red line represents the external world. The blue line represents your feeling states. So what happens is there's a delay time between when you make a decision and when results start to show up. Remember, by my 4th month into Dubai is when I made my $100,000 month. The first month I started on YouTube. I was super excited moving to Dubai. super excited, but nothing was working for me. Nothing was working for me. 1 month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by. And what happens over a period of time, because you don't start to see the manifestations, your feeling states start to dip in because you're like, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if this is going to work out. And so, because now there's been a time delay and now you're letting the projection control your internal states, your feelings drop. You lose faith in the decision. But by that time, things start to happen in your life. A quantum leap, a door starts to open because the external world is a delay period, is a delay time, and then it shows up. And then you get excited again. Hey, things are opening up. I'm so excited for my life. And your feelings shoot back up. But because of that dip that you had a couple weeks, a couple months prior to that, your results dip back down and it creates this repeating inconsistency. So depending on how you're feeling, depends on when things are excited. You're waiting to be excited before the money comes. Sorry, you're waiting for the money to come to be excited. You're waiting for things to happen in your life before you get excited. For those of you that have inconsistent incomes, this is what happens to you. You're up and down, up and down, up and down. And so your outside world is delaying a couple weeks, a couple months based on the feeling states that you had in the past. What if you learned how to create a high level frequency, thoughts, feelings, and action, and maintain a consistent level of feeling states? What would happen to your results? What would happen if you felt the gratitude before the money came, before the clients came, before everything that you wanted came? What if you gave thanks and gratitude before it ever came at a deep subconscious level? And then the results showed up, and then you just took that to the next level. That's what I've always done. But you got to learn what's going on with these inconsistencies. It's following you, and you're creating that reality. But because of you looking at the external world, you dip your feelings, and results are just up and down, up and down. So your current circumstances are the result of your past decisions, and your past decisions cannot create your future decisions. You cannot. You have to just X that out. Whatever's going on in your life right now, you can change it tomorrow. And the way you're going to change it tomorrow is by changing your feeling states now, today. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. That's how you change the future. That's how I've always done this. This is what I'm doing in front of you right now. I'm acting as if I have the 100,000 plus, the million subscribers before I ever have them. And so when they show up, it's like I created a vacuum and they showed up to create to fill the time and space of the feelings that I was holding. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. That's what I'm trying to pass on to you. Y'all feel me here? Number 3, decisions collapse time and space. Decision is not a choice. It's a frequency jump. You guys remember that? The moment you fuse with the identity of the version of you who already has it, time and space starts to bend in your favor. You create a vacuum. People, ideas, and opportunities begin to shift to match your new internal order. That's called the bridge of incidence. Doors will start to open. You make one decision, for example, the client that just signed up, he is in the tech world and he needs to get, I don't use his name here, so it's private, but he needs to get very experienced, top level founders that have started other startup companies. He needs to get them in his business. He also needs to get top level coders into his business so that he doesn't have to do it and he can alleviate his time and work on other things, but he can't really pay the salaries right now. So we're going to bring those people into play. And it's just now 3 days that he's been working with me, and he got an opportunity to go to San Francisco and get connected to a group of people that are all in the founding world. And I said, brother, go for it. That door opened up. That's called the bridge of incidence. And I said, it may not be him, but a door will open up through him that may be your bridge of incidence. Does that make sense? Like, remember when I first launched my first the first time with Bob Proctor, the 100K a month, I was doing these free Zoom calls for these network marketers because I reached out to this guy and I did it for 1 month for free. Nothing happened. But after 1 month, another guy reached out to me and said, hey, I see you doing Zoom calls for his team. Why don't you go do it for my team? And I did it for his team and I went to 100,000 in 14 days. So it wasn't through the direct first door. It was through the second door after following with faith through the first door. The second door opened up and that's how I got it. Same thing with YouTube. I said, I'm going to go all in on YouTube and make money full time on YouTube. And so I started the car channel and I made car videos for 1 month and then nothing was happening. And then I got this random idea to mix the cars with mindset and poof, I shot up and became Mr. Law of Attraction. So the second channel and the second door opened up and that's what happened. That's called the bridge of incidence. that is a skill and a knowledge that I've seen with my clients and patterns across, and this will happen for you. So your outer world has no choice but to follow. From the moment Kennedy said, "We will put a man on the moon," the outcome was locked. The how didn't matter. The frequency was fused, and the reality had to align. When you decide in spirit, and I want you guys to everybody pay attention to me right now. A decision is made with your eyes closed. A decision should be made with your eyes closed. Do not look at the bank account. Do not look at the income. Do not look at last year's projections. Don't look at your current resources. Don't look at your current contacts. Don't look at anything that's going on right now. A decision is a spiritual act. And if you allow your eyes to make your decisions, you will be stuck. Or at least you won't quantum leap at the things that I teach. The universe will configure itself out. And as a reminder, guys, remember this image here. You have your thoughts here and your results. You have your current reality. You fuse the frequency by making a decision in the spiritual realm, and everything will start to download. And that is how you get to the next level. Vision over sight. Vision, which is a spiritual act, over sight with your physical eyes. A decision based on a decision based on what you currently see is not a decision. Exactly what I just said. Like I foreshadowed my own teachings. You're not using your sight to make a decision. That is a reaction. If you look at your current reality and say, based on my current reality, I will make a decision, that is a reaction. That is not a decision. You are not called to react to life. You are called to author your life, to create your life. And as Helen Keller said, the most pathetic person in the world is one with sight but no vision. A vision is what you build your decision on. Vision is what builds your decision, not evidence, not resources, not validation. You must train yourself to hold the image of your higher self and fuse with that frequency before you see the evidence. That is a bar right there. I'm going to repeat that one more time. You must train yourself to hold the image of your higher self and fuse with that frequency before you see the evidence. Freeze frame the vision. What vision are we talking about? What you wrote on your goal card. Y'all remember this goal card that we wrote on our last lessons? That is what you're freeze framing. That is what you're working on. Make it real in your imagination. Then decide that it is yours. You're not working towards it. You don't want it. You're not trying. It's yours. Your job is not to figure out the how. And so many of you get so stuck on that. Your job is to declare what you want and hold it until it formulates. That's called the law of perpetual transmutation. We cover that in another lesson. Whatever you hold in your mind, you will hold in your hand. Whatever's in my mind is already mine. And now this is how most people operate. So what they do is their starting point is their results. They don't make decisions based on what I'm saying right now. They look at their outside results, and based on what they see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, that formulates an image in their conscious mind. So let's just say you're making $20,000 a month and you've been stuck there for years, but you've been really wanting $100,000 a month. Okay. So now, based on what's been going on for the last several years, you keep thinking you're stuck at this $20K a month. So everything around you says that this is it. It is what it is. So that you create new images, or set the same images in your mind, which stirs the same emotions, which stirs the same vibration, which causes the same results. So you stay in this rat race cycle because you keep letting your outside world formulate the images in your mind, which then you get emotionally involved in, which formulates the same actions that are to the degree of the outside results, and you just stay in the same cycle. You're stuck or inconsistent. And how tiring is that when you're working so hard and taking on more information and trying new things and nothing's working? That's tiring. That was me for 5 years before I met Bob Proctor. So decide in advance. The decision is not just a moment, it's a mindset. A lot of you guys make these fake ass decisions and you guys backpedal on it after 2 weeks. Some of you made these New Year's resolutions and already fell off on it. It's a decision. And once you make that decision, you embody and filter out your life through that decision and through that mindset. Does that make sense? You can eliminate most of your daily mental clutter by deciding in advance who you are. I know who I am. And for a moment, I lost that in that toxic relationship. That person beat me down and I allowed them to because I didn't set boundaries. But I know who I am. And I had to build myself back up. And we're in the process of that. But shit, you better see what's about to happen. Yes, sir. I know who I am. What do you stand for? A person that stands for nothing falls for anything. What you will or will not accept. I know as far as the relationship, because I got the money side down. That relationship, that's the first time I decided that. And that thing was like, woo, that was crazy. So now I know what I will accept and what I won't. There's certain things I will not accept anymore. What frequency do you live from? So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. I am making this YouTube video right now. I could be sitting here like reading from a screen, but no, I'm like, yes, sir, let's go. I put emotion behind what I'm doing because not only do I believe in what I'm doing, this shit gets me hyped as well, but I know what's happening behind the scenes in the spiritual realm. That's just next level shit. I'm creating a vacuum between where I'm at now at 30,000 subscribers and where I'm at 100, 200, 300, a million YouTube subscribers. Y'all feel me here? I'm operating from a different frequency. The energy is there because you see me physically, but where I'm at is at a spiritual level out there, and I create a time and space collapse because I'm already there. I create a vacuum with the universe, and there must be equilibrium. This is what gives leaders their edge. They don't have to waste energy negotiating with weakness. Their path is pre-decided. When you've already decided that you don't argue with circumstances, when you've already decided you don't argue with circumstances, you don't break integrity under pressure, you don't hope for alignment, you create it. 6, the identity behind the decision. This is so important. Your identity behind your decision. Many of you have made decisions in the past but never fell through because you didn't embody the person, the who behind it. It's not how, it's who. You have a self-image problem, which is a whole nother lesson that we'll write on. Those who make fast, powerful decisions do so because they see themselves as someone who can. How you do one thing is how you do anything. If you're making indecisions in one area of your life, I guarantee you're doing it in another part of your life. Their identity supports decision making. I have made this habit of myself where I make these decisions once I feel like it's the right time. I make these decisions even when it's not there. Your self-image is the thermostat of your life. And guys, we're coming up here on the 32-minute mark. So we're going to finish up with this image and our next lesson here. Okay. So guys, make sure you're tuning into tomorrow's video. We're going to finish up with this. Make sure you stay up because this is so important. I guarantee that this is the reason why many of you guys fail. So guys, subscribe below if you're here for the first time. For those of you that want to work with me and take this and implement it into your life and your business to take your business to the next level, book a call below. See you guys in tomorrow's video. Take care.